The first exercise in our warm-up series is an inchworm Spider-Man. It's a combination between an inchworm and a Spider-Man lunge. We're going to reach down towards the ground without bending our knees. We're going to walk out on our hands. We're going to bring one foot up and around so our knee is beside our shoulder. We're going to drive that knee forward and out. We're going to switch, and then we're going to walk all the way back up on our hands again. Next, when we're in the bottom position, we are going to come across the ankle and we're going to oscillate back and forth. Make sure to support your weight through your hands. This should be comfortably uncomfortable and definitely not painful. Another good pointer is to try keep that knee nice and high. Next, when we're in that bottom position, we're going to bring our knee all the way down to the ground. So we're essentially in the pigeon stretch. And then we're going to bring our forearms out in front and we're going to count down from 10 all the way down to 1. We're going to switch and again walk back up, keeping the knees straight. Next, when we're in that bottom position, we're going to try to get both our forearms to the ground. Hold for a count of 3, 2, 1. Then we're going to come back up and we're going to reach and hold for 3, 2, 1. Again, once we've got both sides done, we're going to walk back up on our hands, keeping those knees nice and straight. Initially, this may seem odd. When we're in the bottom position, we're going to drop our back knee to the ground. We're going to come up nice and tall. We are going to get our right elbow and we are going to bring it outside of our left knee. We're going to press our hands together in almost prayer position and we're going to rotate around, hold for a count of 3, 2, 1. Repeat on the other side and then we're going to walk back up on our hands again. And last but not least, when we're in the bottom position, we are going to bring our hand to the outside of our lead leg, and so the knee is between both hands, and then we're going to try rock back to our back heel, pointing the front toe towards the ceiling. You should feel a nice stretch in your hamstring of the front leg. Up next is a version of Ido Portal's squat routine, and you're either going to find it okay or you're just going to hate it. The start position is slightly outside hip width with your toes pointed slightly out. You're going to grab hold of the kettlebell and pull yourself into the bottom of a squat. Next, stay here for a minimum of 15 seconds. You can work up to 30 seconds. Then after that time has elapsed, we're going to drive one knee in and out using our elbows 10 to 30 times. We're going to switch and then we're going to spend another 15 to 30 seconds down in the bottom position. It's a good idea to break these up initially and come up, walk around, shake out the legs for a couple of seconds before we get back down again. And next we're going to follow the same template. We're going to pull ourselves down to the bottom of the squat. We're going to spend that 15 to 30 seconds down in the bottom position. Then we're going to drive one knee out and we're going to hold that position for again 15 to 30 seconds. We're going to switch and then we're going to spend another 15 to 30 seconds down in the bottom position. And the final version of the squat routine is time independent, but typically it will take around a minute if you do it in a nice controlled manner. Once you're in the bottom position, you're going to reach up and around, pointing your elbow towards the ceiling. So we're going to do 5 to 10 reps of this. Then we're going to switch, and once we've got that elbow pointed towards the ceiling, we're going to reach with our hand towards the ceiling. Again, we're going to do 5 to 10 reps. And on that final rep, we're going to hold that top position for a count of 10 to 30 seconds each side. Next we're going to do some single leg Romanian deadlifts. What we're going to do is we're going to take one leg off the ground and we're going to try press that heel as far behind the body as possible. That back toe should be pointed directly down towards the ground and not out and away. Once we can't press that heel any further behind the body, we're not going to make up the distance by flexing on our spine. We'll keep that back nice and straight. Next up is duck walks. What we're going to do is we're going to get down to the bottom of a squat and we're basically going to walk across the room in the bottom of a squat. It's like the slow bicycle race where the slower the better. You want to move your full foot off the ground and try to keep the heels on the ground at all times. Next we're onto the floor. We're going to lie on the ground and we're going to bring the backs of our hands all the way down to the ground above our head. Don't worry if you can't hit the ground initially. We're going to go for 10 to 20 reps. Keep. In the same position as the last exercise, we're going to bring our elbows down to the ground and we're going to go for 10 to 20 floor slides. We're trying to keep the elbows and backs of the hands on the ground for as long as possible, but please make sure that your elbows lock out overhead. Next we're going to do 5 bent knee iron crosses on each side. We're going to bring our arms into a cross formation. We're going to pin our shoulders to the ground. We're going to glue our knees and we're going to drop our knees out to the left and we're going to look to the right. We're going to drop our knees out to the right and look to the left. The big thing here is that the shoulders do not leave the ground at any time. Only go as far as you keep the shoulders on the ground. Next we're going to go for 5 to 10 roll over to V-sits. You'll start with your legs straight out in front. You're going to bring them all the way behind your body and try touch the ground. Don't worry if you can't. Then you're going to come forward and you're going to get into what's called a straddle position and you're going to reach. In the straddle position, the feet are as far apart as possible, toes are pointed and knees are locked.